Now let's get some insights from BRICS Business Council member Iqbal Survi on some of the strategies they have in mind for dealing with Africa's infrastructure backlog.
It's precisely the aim of the BRICS Bank and precisely the aim of the BRICS Council to put in place the infrastructure that will overcome. So it's a chicken and egg situation, right, isn't it? Historically, people always complained about Africa not having, and some of the other, India for example, not having the infrastructure to do the kind of things. Because, you know, even farmers, the rural farmers in the remote areas of our continent, they need better roads, they need better logistics, they need better markets to sell their products. Now, it's no good just saying that because it doesn't exist, you're not able to do it. So what we are trying to do with the formation of the BRICS Council is actually say, hold on, let's invest in infrastructure. Let's precisely, as the BRICS countries, let's put in place the power plants that you talk about. Let's put in place other energy sort of resource bases. Let's put in place roads, more roads, transport systems, water systems. So the kind of Africa and the kind of BRICS countries you will see over the next decade will be very, very different. In fact, part of the growth and the excitement of the opportunity in the BRICS countries is precisely because of these investments. However, the caution that we have is not so much whether we're going to do that. Of course we're going to do that. The caution we have is how do we do that in a collective manner where we share experiences across the BRICS countries. Some of the BRICS countries have been incredibly successful. China, for example, has been very, very successful in its infrastructure development program. Brazil has been very successful in its energy and resource efficiency programs. Russia has reindustrialized their quite a big area in the aircraft industry, and they've gone back into that. So what is our challenge in all of this? Our key challenge is skills base. Our key challenge that we've identified is having the people to be able to carry out these kinds of projects or these kinds of business enterprises. And that, I must tell you, is one of the key priorities of the BRICS Council, is the exchange of a national skills base and programs, so that maybe we have engineers coming from some BRICS countries, training engineers from other BRICS countries. Maybe we have doctors from some BRICS countries, because there was a great project that was identified in Lesotho, a private public sector project in healthcare. And we're saying, you know, that kind of project can take place in other BRICS countries as well.
I'm quite interested in this debate around skills, because I've had it with various South African ministers, including the Minister for Economic Development, Ibrahim Patel, and he's got quite an interesting view on skills. He always says that we keep on saying South Africa doesn't have skills, but if you look, let's say for example, at certain BMW plants in South Africa, we're rolling off this incredibly impressive car, and we are using South African labor. South African nurses are playing incredible roles in places like your Dubai's and Saudi Arabia's. South African skills, South African university educated people, South African engineers are building dams everywhere else. It's not like we don't have the skills. Our problem is massifying it, and of course skills retention. Do you share that view, Dr. Survi?
I do, to a lesser extent, not entirely.
You're not that optimistic?
No, I think one must always, no, I've never said that, by the way. I think one must always unpack what we're saying. Let's first start at the point where we're not saying this is about South Africa. This is about Africa. So when we talk about BRICS on the BRICS Business Council, and the reason why we had some people say 100 African billionaires there yesterday, I don't know, but it could be, was precisely because we're very serious about Africa as part of the BRICS thing. So when we talk about the skill set base, we should think about it in African terms, not in South African terms. In South African terms, I think we've got very specific skills and good skills in certain areas of the economy. However, in other areas of the economy, we may need a hell of a lot more skills.
Right.
And we need to develop those. And there are some industrialization projects where we don't have the skills, to be frank. There's a gap in terms of managerial. So we must also differentiate between technical skills and managerial skills, because sometimes you may have the technical skills, but you may not have the managerial skills to implement.
Well, certainly our project management leaves lots to be desired.
And there are lots of instances where I think we should learn from the challenges that we faced. So I think, but we're getting there. I think we're getting there. Part of what we should, however, do is identify very quickly which is the areas of excellence that we want to be in as South Africa and also in other parts of the continent, and then make sure we have the necessary skill space for that.